Hello and welcome to the Sweaty, the Farmer and the Game Design. Here we grow oranges. We have many layers and a lime at the center. This is episode number 20. The Lotus Petals. I am the lone name gamer as the Sweaty.
I am Lucho the Farmer. Thanks for joining us in this episode. This week we got lost in the depths of the Warframe progression now.
But before that, let's take a look at this week's news. Shall we? In the docket we have Warcraft 9 Auto Raid Warfare has ended. DDoS attacks locks out EVE Online players for 9 days. Oh my god. And EA hikes up PC game price, but only on Steam. So, the raid race.
That was fun.
What?
That was fun.
It was fun. We were there. We saw the winner. We saw Limit just doing the last kill on the boss. That last percentage, super tight, super precise. They did like 272 pulls of Nasat, and it was crazy.
It was fun.
It was fun. That's a lot of enthusiasm you have there, friend. And it's funny because you were the one who sold me the race. I think I was more hype about it than you.
No, it was. I mean, I really enjoyed it and I followed it closely.
Yeah, it was cool. There, you know about the glitch about Nasot, right? In the NA servers, right? That something was not triggering, so they despawned Nasot in all the servers across NA.
Yep.
And it was just crazy because everybody got despawned and blah blah blah, and there was some bugs with things that didn't trigger, etc. etc. This is the famous clip of the boss despawning. But all in all, even with that, it was a cool race. Like between Method Limit, it was like very close. But of course, Limit, it was weird because everybody was kind of pushing for Limit to win.
No, who's everybody?
Everybody was the majority of NA because they actually borrow money to get more gear, to get to the killing, to get to the well-rolled killing gears for some of their members, and they end up like at the end of the kill, it was like, oh, they're gonna be in debt for a long time. Hope such and such happens, so they are not in debt for forever. Because apparently, for that last kill, when they realized that there was a thing of burning down the boss, right? They started borrowing better roll gear and some with better corrupted abilities and that sort of stuff.
That's bullshit. That shouldn't count.
Hey, it's allowed. It's within the system. The action house is there, right?
One thing is borrowing, another thing is just straight up buying stuff, which
I think they buy stuff, but I think they borrow part of the gold to buy stuff to other people. So they're overall in debt.
No, that part is bullshit. If they buy it with their own gold, go for it.
I think they borrow gold from other guilds or something like that. Because they were bullshit. Empty, and it was because they, in the middle of the raid thingies, they nerfed some of the abilities, the corrupted abilities that we're using in the middle of it. So they have to change a bunch of gear.
Yeah, and that's not an excuse.
I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm just stating a fact. That's the reason why they have to borrow so much money to get new gear.
No, that's what I'm saying is that's not a good reason.
To borrow money to get the best gear for
that's not a good reason. It's not they didn't earn that money.
Well, they own it. They didn't. Well, yeah.
No. There's a difference.
Okay.
If you work for something and you get all the gold, fair enough.
All
You
right.
work for that gold.
I think they're broke right now. I think
But
the
that's
guild is broke right now.
that's the price for running for a world first.
Yeah, that's true.
They know it in advance. It's not that they are going blindfolded like, oh, we're gonna run out of gold. No, they know it. They have done it before.
Yeah, fair enough. But all
So
in
that's what
all,
I'm saying. Like getting money, like getting borrowed money from our people, that's bullshit.
yeah, I think they did something like that. I don't know.
In my
But
opinion, that's bullshit. If they earn the gold and like if they have a stupid amounts of gold and they just spend all of it buying new gear and shit, fair enough. That's fair game.
fair enough.
But borrowing gold, that for me falls in a space that's not fair. Because the appealing thing of the race is that more or less we all are playing under the same rules. So now you know that if you want to raid every week, you have to sustain
Yeah, I know.
a certain
Yeah,
amount of
now
gold
we know.
income.
Yeah, that is
But you're
true.
not you're not able to borrow gold.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm not able to.
And that takes away from the win because like now you know like you have to make and you can somehow imagine that when you're going for war first, you're gonna need a lot of gold for the race.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing. Like they do prepare, they do buy stuff, and they do things to raise the gold,
Yes.
which is part of the race. So borrowing kind of takes away from that.
Okay. Well.
Because me as a player or our guild
Yeah.
cannot go out borrowing gold.
No, it cannot. Yeah, that's true.
So the win feels more like, if we cannot do it, then
Well, there is something to say about like the skill of them. Like the items will get you so far.
Oh no, definitely. They
Yeah,
like I'm not doubting the skills of the players at all.
Fair enough. I'm
And
not
then I'm
like
not saying that they don't deserve the win. I'm just saying that it takes away from the
yeah,
impressiveness
I
of the
imagine
win.
so. But it was like I don't know the specific about it, but I did hear some of the commentators talking about like they spent a lot more gold that they had in the guild, something like that.
Yeah, that is like sure. They're skilled players, they dedicate themselves, whatever.
Yeah.
It just makes it to me a
Yes.
little less impressive.
Well, fair enough. Yeah.
And I'm
So
like
much.
they borrow gold and say, nah, they don't deserve it then, in my opinion.
Fair enough. And then did Method did it for second place?
I don't know. I've been busy these last days. They probably completed already.
Yeah.
They were not limit completed it. Method was like a 30% or something.
Yeah, they were like the best pool was like when I stopped following up Method streams, the best pool was like 22, so they were getting there.
Yeah, they probably finished it.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Fair enough. So it was very cool, but of course
It was really cool.
it's really cool. Then after that, like, well, Blizzard did an announcement about what happened with the glitch and that the boss wasn't supposed to put up a barrier 25%, and that was a glitch mechanic. The only part of the mythic rotation was that you have to go back to Chamber of Heart and kill a specific mob, like specific mini boss, and then go back. Like they thought there was going to be another mythic stage, but apparently that wasn't the case, because the first time that they got to Nasot to 25%, for some reason he shielded up and the portal reappeared, but nothing happened.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So and Blizzard say, so I'm sorry, we're sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, what happened?
For some reason my computer is dying.
Your feed is dying.
My computer is dying.
Your computer is dying.
I'm gonna restart really quick. You can keep talking.
What? Oh my god, he's gonna leave me alone. So Lucho is back. Sorry for that. Difficult.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties and internet and stuff.
Yeah, my computer is dying. I don't know why.
All right. So, what was I saying?
News.
Yes, it's on the news.
Mm.
So that was the race. So congratulations to Complexity
Yep.
Limit for making the kill. It was very, very exciting. And I myself, I'm enjoying the raid.
It is a really fun ride.
Yes.
It is. The encounters are really fun.
Yes. So now, DDoS attack locks out evil live players for 9 days. Can you imagine this? Like
That
if you get locked out
sounds
from
really
like
crazy.
Warframe for 9 days.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, apparently like over a week somebody started DDoSing their servers
Yeah.
and they have to shut down every server that they have. It was that bad. And apparently one of the servers, like they got through to one of the servers. So they have to
Yeah.
restructure one of the realms. And because that's like a collection of servers intertwined, because he's like in Evil, like there is no realms or anything. Everybody
Yep.
plays on the same servers. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a collection of servers intertwined. So if the entrance point of that server goes down, which was the one that being DDoS, nothing will. There is no access. You know what I mean? Because to maintain that
Yep.
network, they have to have a central entry point for everything, right? One server, which is the master server. That's why in WoW you have like different servers, right? You don't have a centralized server.
I think that's also smarter.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's
You
because
don't-
of the philosophy that they have. Like I think World of Warcraft, what it does is they do layering, but inside their own servers, right? They just have like separate servers per
Yeah,
realm, right?
but but they do have different servers. That's a smart decision because you don't want to. If you get attacked
Yeah.
and they take down one of your servers, it's not the whole thing going down.
Yes. But
It's just like it is not about like design, like game design. It's about how you should run a server. Like it's about
yes,
redundancy and stuff like that.
yes, I understand, but I think this is it's a choice because they chose to keep everybody on the same reel at all time, on the same realm at all
Sure,
time.
but that is a poor choice.
Well, yeah, it could be a poor choice, yes.
What I'm saying is that
but
from
like,
from
yeah,
a technological point of view, from a technical point of view,
yeah.
it's a bad choice.
Well, the question is like we don't know enough of the server architecture of EVE Online to
Yes,
see.
we don't.
Yeah.
If it is one server running everything and they can take down everything with one attack, it's probably a technical problem.
I
And I'll be
understand.
surprised if that's the case.
I understand that they have a gateway server, but
Yeah, sure.
they have a
because that's-
network of servers running all the realms, right? But the things like they guarantee you that everybody is in the same universe, right? There is no multiple universes parallel if EVE Online. That's the thing. So maybe because of that, their server architecture is more vulnerable to constant DDoS attacks.
Okay, then if even if that is the case,
Yeah,
that's a still bad decision in my opinion.
fair
Because
enough.
you should prioritize security or something else. Because if they can attack their servers, I mean, you are also connected to a server, so they're also putting in danger their customers.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you should prioritize security, or oh no, but it's the decision design.
Fair enough. But apparently it's been a DDoS attack for a week. So the DDoS attack the servers for an entire week constantly.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's not that hard.
Well, yeah, but why for a week? Like I've heard DDoS attack of like 3 days, something like that.
4 days
Jesus.
is almost a week.
Yeah, they really wanted to take down the game.
No,
apparently.
the point is that if someone finds a security flaw,
Yeah,
they can exploit it quite easily.
fair
So
enough. So yeah,
all like my position is The decision to have one server, one point of access, or whatever shouldn't be. Oh, it's the sign of the thing. No, it should be security, because you're putting in danger your customer.
Yeah, no idea, no idea. We will like to have like an expert on like server architecture to tell us like if it's possible to have like multiple server backups. The thing is like there were some players that could get in, but there are other players that absolutely not. Like, so it was like a trickle at some point.
Yeah,
Still
who knows how their networking architecture is set up and everything.
Yeah, no idea. No idea. It's a mystery to
But
us.
yeah, that's their engineers have a lot of work too, I guess.
They do. So there you go. Is the risk of running an online game, I guess. And for last week,
not only running it, but taking part in one.
fair enough. And for our last week news of this week, EA hacks up PC game prices, but only on Steam. Is
Sure.
the battle of the game developers that want to have everything in their own little hub and receive money directly. So I guess this is one more strategy that they tried to like dethrone Steam as the centralized. I thought they were like tired of fighting against Steam, but I guess not.
And they shouldn't, to be honest. Like, Steam is a good platform, but they have basically a monopoly on the like online distribution, and we don't know how hard that hits developers, like especially small developers or indie studios and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't know how hard the Steam is on them.
Steam is pretty hard. They take like a big chunk of developers. I think it was like 20% of the sales goes to developers, something like that.
Maybe I don't know, but sure, Steam is a good platform and it works well. But other companies should work on making competition. That's fine, but they shouldn't do it by jacking up the prices. They should do it with features and other stuff.
Yeah, but
so
it's a cheap strategy.
I agree with the intention. I disagree with the execution.
Yeah, it's definitely a very old cheap strategy from the old past. It's like
it's not that it's just lazy. It's not.
Yeah. Fair enough. Have you heard?
And the problem is that if you're relying on lazy strategies, it's because your platform doesn't have the features to compete.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is the actual thing that we need.
Yeah, we need better platforms to compete to Steam that offer more than Steam does. For example, have you heard about the Xbox Game Pass? What do you think about that?
Of course I have. What do you think?
Particular system? What do you think about that particular like offering?
I've never heard of that. I don't know. I don't follow Xbox.
Is a thing that you buy? It's similar to the EA Games Pass thingy, but better.
Okay, so yeah, it's a subscription service.
Yeah, so it gives you like I think it charges like $15, something like that, $10, and then you have unlimited access to the entire Xbox collection.
Okay.
Yep. They have like The Witcher and a bunch of like very good Xbox games.
I don't completely like the subscription model for video games because I wanna own the game. Although that's not true anymore.
Nope.
But that's true for a lot of small games. So yeah.
Well, I don't know how much do we own from our Steam libraries. Talking about Steam.
I don't know, like probably games like the old Fear games and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the old Fear games. Yeah.
Like there are a lot of like older games and games by smaller studios who are that we should own. Like
yeah. I still have
that's the kind of thing, and I think those are most of the games. It's just that we mainly play services right now, but
Yeah, that
that's
is
on
true.
us, not on the. I don't think that's a good representation
Of what it
of
is,
the
yeah.
state of the industry.
Yeah. I still have like a lot of like in some hard drive somewhere, I still have um pirate copies of half my Steam library. Just for like in case the internet goes down or something like that, I have like a stash of actual real games that I can install and play technically on offline because they're pirate versions.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
but like, yeah, I mean, the nice thing of Steam is that you buy the game, whatever that means,
yeah, whatever that means now.
but you're not paying a constant fee to play the game.
Yeah,
So you may have only you could buy only one game on Steam, and you only own that game,
yeah.
but you still get to play it anytime you want. You're not paying $15 or $10 every month.
Well, the thing is like you don't if you don't well yes, yes, but the thing is like if you just have the $15 and no have and don't have like the full $60 that a game that you want to play cost and you want to
Like
play.
if you say those $15 for 4 months, you're gonna have the $60.
Yeah, but you want we are the future, Lucho. People want things now. Even if they don't have money, they want it now.
Sure, I
Yeah.
mean that's true. Still, that's not a good uh, argument for that. It's that like what you're saying is the reason why people would use it. I don't
Yeah.
think it's a good reason to use it.
Fair enough. But they're an interesting platforms. Maybe we are getting well. There is a lot of resistance of the actual market to get into just like services, but in like just games as a service, like a subscription, then you get access to all the games you want, like Netflix kind of thing. But who knows
Yeah,
if
but
we ever
like
get there?
let's think about games and how we do play games. At least we
Yes.
like. I don't play that many games, to be honest. Like I'm probably a good representation of what most people are.
Yes.
We have day jobs and we
Correct.
get to game the weekends and maybe a couple of hours during the week.
Yes. Yes.
With
At
that
night.
time allowance, I don't get to play a lot of games.
Fair enough. You just get to
So
play some
I'll
games.
assume, yeah, I'll assume that most like people around my age, like young adults and stuff
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
would play a couple of games, even if they're like not services, but let's say your Assassin's Creed game that you're gonna finish at some point.
Yeah.
That's still probably gonna take me a couple of months if I were to do that.
Yeah.
More than 4 months, maybe.
I
No,
see. I
because
see where you're
let's
going.
think.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I'm 30 years old. Like most people my age have kids and
Yeah.
families.
Yes.
So even if you get to play during the weekend, it's not a whole weekend. Like
Yeah. It's just like a night, like Nick. Like Nick, he
yeah.
plays just like 1 or 2 nights in the week, not even like
Yeah.
the whole weekend and stuff.
So picture that kind of schedule, $15 a month. I don't think it justifies
Yeah, that is true. I don't think it's
for most people that can afford a $15 monthly
subscription
fee.
thing. Yeah. Maybe you can give it to a kid. A kid has enough time to experience
Sure,
like part of the library, and you are actually
could
saving
be,
money on buying all those games.
could be, but maybe you as a parent don't want your kid to be glued to a computer console that much time.
You make a good point.
Because they have a school and you want them to do homework.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying that like and there's a big difference with like Netflix and like TV streaming stuff because you somehow use those more because it's a passive thing. Like
yeah, it's a passive entertainment. Yeah, it's
like
easier
for
to.
example, I can pull up Netflix while I'm cooking and I will get to see a couple of episodes of a series.
Yeah.
I can pull it up if I have commute and I'm not driving. I don't know. I'm in the train or something like that.
Yeah.
You still get to use it.
Yeah. I see.
So it's not that like the time investment for consuming video games versus TV series is a little bit different.
Fair enough. Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't know. So that's why I don't like that model of games
Alright.
by subscription kind of platform.
All right. Fair enough.
But that's my opinion. I don't know.
I think it's useful for some people who has the time or they don't want to like.
It could be useful for streamers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, like we don't want to constantly spending money and everything, and to just put 50.
Like,
and like if somebody wants us to like a day, like one day play something weird or something like that, then you have access to that service, and that fix your problem of like, I need to play X game because the stream likes it, and but I don't want to buy the game, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, and I'm not saying it doesn't have its audience. I'm just saying that shouldn't become
the norm,
the bystander model.
All right, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think with that we finish today's news. We have to move on to our main topic because we have to discuss a lot of things.
Yep.
So before we move on into our deep dive, a little disclaimer. This discussion here is based on our opinions and our own in-game experiences. Everything we say here cannot be taken to a court of law or something like that. We may say untrue things. We try to do a research before we go into the podcast. But mainly it's our experience with the game directly, so you get it like what a gamer, how a gamer processes and takes all these things.
Yep.
That's a little disclaimer. If we made a mistake, something like that, you're free to leave it in the comments or send us an email about it. You don't have to be angry, but if you want to be angry, that's okay too. So, Lucho, our deep dive.
Yep.
This is our 20th episode.
By the way, I know.
By the way, 20 episode. What better way to get to our 20th episode than talking about Warframe? I think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. A game that I enjoy very, very much.
Yeah. So, last episode we talked about Warframe in general, the game in general terms, what you feel when you play a game, right?
Yep.
This week we're gonna talk about specific systems inside the game. So let's start for the most crazy and scary system that the game has.
And also a first system that you will probably encounter when playing the game.
Oh yes, all the time. No wait, you have like how long till you find it? Like from tutorial, from you open the game and then you find the first mod. I think there is
no. It is in the tutorial.
It is in the tutorial
because as soon as you get weapons, they like as soon as you unlock the armory, they tell you to go and put mods in it.
Yeah, and they gave you the starter mods, the broken.
They gave you like broken mods.
Yes,
but they do tell you. So it's in the first 2 hours of the game.
All right, so let's start dissecting what mods are. Mods are what makes Warframe, in my opinion.
Mods are little cards with numbers on them.
Yeah.
But yes, they are what make Warframe.
Yeah, this is yeah.
The way that I think about it is that everything in Warframe is like a blank page. Like Warframes, weapons, Arwing, everything.
Yeah. Everything is a tabula rasa. Yeah.
And the mods are the actual things that you put in to fill the page.
So you're painting with mods.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
That's correct.
In technical terms, what that means is that you have in Warframes weapons, melee weapons, Arwings, companions, Does Railjacks have mods?
They have its own version of mods that are
Railjacks.
not mods. They are not technically mods, but they have their own version of mods.
Oh, there you go. Railjacks, and I think that's it. That's everything that
Yeah.
you can insert mods in it. All that have access to mods. Sometimes they're their own categories, sometimes they're general mods, right? And what means is like every part of that has an energy resource that you can spend putting mods on it, right? So to give you a simple example, you have a mod that give you plus 20% damage to a weapon, right? Give you the most normal example.
Yep.
And this mod cost 10 energy. 10 energy? Cost 10 energy.
Yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
basically each weapon and each warframe and each thing and it so has its own budget
Yes.
of energy.
So
And each mod that you put into a weapon or the warframe eats up a little bit of that budget.
there you go. And you put as many mods inside the thing that you're putting mods on
As you can afford.
as you can afford in energy, and sometimes as many slot it has, because sometimes you have enough energy, but you have a limited amount of slots that you can fill
Yep.
into the thing. And these mods,
Yeah, no, go ahead.
and this mod does everything, modifying your damage, modifying the type of damage that you do. They modify how fast you can shoot in terms of the weapons, or how much of certain type of damage do. You combine mods to make other types of damage, how many bullets your guns actually shoot, or
Fire rate. Yeah, so basically
everything,
any kind of stat that you can imagine. Like every weapon has, for example, its own basic stat. Damage. It has a critical rate. It's a critical damage. It has status.
Type of damage, impact.
Type of damage, status percentage. It has fire rate, accuracy.
Yeah.
Ammunition capacity.
Yeah.
All those things. And the mods basically can modify all those things.
So basically, what we're trying to say here is like they give you a weapon. The weapon has a characteristics, but the mods can modify every single piece of characteristics of that weapon. Every single piece of stats can be touched with mods.
They can, but also it is worth saying. For example, in the Division 2, they have mods.
Mods, yes, correct.
Because you can put thingies on the slots and stuff.
Yeah, you can put augments in the slots of certain
things. But the changes that those provide, for example, are really small.
Yeah, super.
In Warframe, the mods have insane modification power. Yeah. So
the most
like 100%, like 90% extra damage, or things like that.
And that's the most basic damage mod. It's like, you just put that and you get like double the damage.
Yeah,
just because.
So the system sounds fairly simple, but it's really where the power of everything comes from. Correct. Because the changes are that significant.
Yes, correct. And not only that, but the mods have level and rarity.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, the rarity, like you can think of the mods are trading cards. Like,
yeah.
You have common, uncommon, rares, and ruins.
Which is legendaries. They say quote unquote legendaries. Their version of legendaries.
You can think of it that way.
Yes. So, and you level up these mods to get to the maximum, but of course if you level up they will consume more energy, but they're
better upgrade.
Yeah, but they will become better. So that's how the mod system works for everything, to the point that they're so central to playing that the majority of Warframe has mods that modify some of their default abilities inside.
Yeah, that's a specific class of mods.
Yes, and basing this all-around modification is where the first layer of customization of Warframe comes into play. You can modify your
Yes.
weapons to do a certain type of damage because it's the better damage that you want to do, or is better against certain things that you're fighting, or you want to modify with the mods a Warframe to do certain things with this ability and to be better to do certain activities, or make it an all-rounded good. You can make it a super tank. You can make it to have a lot of shields. You can reinforce some of their abilities, etc., etc.
One of the most interesting things, in my opinion, sorry, when modding Warframes, is that you can have negative effect.
Ah, that's the weirdest thing, yeah.
It is not only weird, but that's like, it's sometimes counterintuitive because you will want all your stats to grow,
Yes.
but sometimes you actually don't, and that's amazing. Like, for example, Noah.
Yes.
The one ability pulls like all the little stars flowing around you. They reduce damage,
Yes.
but they shoot up to enemies when they come to a certain range of you.
Yeah.
So you want to have as little range as possible, so you go to negative range,
So you don't lose your protection from the wall?
so you don't lose your protection as often.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like, and like a lot of Warframes have this thing that they could like certain, like if you use certain abilities in a certain way, they can benefit from having negative stats.
Yes.
Which, when I realized that, it was like mind blown. It's an interesting concept because
absolutely, like it's something like this system. Of course, is super complicated because as soon as you see mods and you're like, what the, and you see like at this point, me and Lucho, we had hundreds and hundreds of mods, and once in a while we go to our mod library, like we delete literally garbage.
Yeah.
Because at some point the game starts just throwing mods at you. Just have mods. And then you think,
Yeah.
have mods. Right?
Here,
And-
power.
Yeah, power, have power. Experiment. And it becomes like super intimidating because you don't know what to do. You have this reservoir of energy. You know if the mod is like good enough or not for what you want to do, and you want to start experiment it. So it takes a while to actually deep into that system.
It gets a while to feel comfortable so that you can modify on your own your weapons and Warframe.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and this is kind of one of the bad things of Warframe, is that the optimal thing to at the beginning is to find a guide that tells you how to do it.
Yes.
Just blindly follow it. You will be okay.
Don't worry.
And at some point, it will make sense.
Yes. And that's how we do it. How we did it.
That's how we did it, yeah. At the beginning, we selected a couple of Warframes and weapons.
Yeah.
We found on the internet builds for those, or just collection of mods.
Yeah.
And we follow those.
Yes.
But it makes sense. It like there is so many options that you don't know what is good. Like,
yeah.
Because, for example, fight rate, like increasing the fire rate, sounds like a good thing. No, you will shoot more bullets, so more damage.
But it actually depends.
But in Warframe, it's a trash mod. Like,
yeah, it depends on the weapon. If you have, like, there's some very slow,
no
like it's like the sniper high, like the sniper low fire rate weapons that you use in open wars. They benefit from higher fire rate.
Depends for what you're using it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's not like there is some mods that are actually trash mods. There's some mods that they have like some uses.
Yeah, right? Fire rate is kind of trash.
Yeah, like for example, have you find any use to the one of the first mod that you pick up, the stealth loot mod? The loot finder mod is like a bronze mod, which is like you find loot in the boxes more often, something like that.
Yeah, I have used it.
Have you?
Because there are some, like when farming materials, like if you do a specific farming, you know what is that useful for? When you're doing syndicate missions and you want to farm materials at the same time.
Yeah.
Like when you do syndicate missions, you want to find all the little statues that are
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And since you're basically going to be running around the whole level collecting the statues, if you break all the containers on the process, like on your path, you will
Yeah.
just get more stuff.
Okay. So
And since the syndicate missions are like low level in general,
yeah.
you really don't need power to just stomp the enemies.
Okay.
So you can feed a lot of farming mods in like a specific farming build for that.
All right. And so what do you say is a truly like trash mod?
I think ammo case is one of the like the one that gives you extra ammo capacity. Because you find ammo everywhere. It's very rare to run out of ammo in the game.
Yes. Yeah, that could be one.
Like
Anyways,
if you're killing enemies, you're getting ammo.
yeah, you get an ammo. Yeah, that's true.
So that one is one of the ones that is kind of
trashy. But you will learn. You will learn in time what a good mod makes.
yes. But it takes a lot of staring at a screen with the system and the numbers.
Yeah, and
And
then yeah,
no, but I feel like that's the point where the game shines the most.
yeah,
When you're able to, and if is that's probably not for everyone, but like when you're sitting down on the screen, like changing the mods, looking at the stats chain and saying, yeah, that's the combination, and or
yeah.
no, I don't want that. That doesn't look good. I feel like that's where it shines.
Yeah.
Shines.
Especially when you get like to like halfway your playthrough of Warframe in the overall opening the places, opening the maps and everything, and then they say to you, now you should go to the what is the name of the place? And you find then you have to go with the keys to the derelict. You have to go to the derelict and farm these very very rare mods, and you're like,
yeah,
why? Because they're the ones who are like the most important for every build ever. You're like, what?
yeah.
And then you find out that there's this crazy mods which give you like a big positive and accompanied by a big negative all the time.
Yeah.
And that's when the mod system start making sense to you. Like when everything starts to click and you're like, oh yeah, of course, if you make this negative, but you gain so much positive, it doesn't matter. And potentially this thing that I want to do.
I don't think that's when it makes sense. I think that's the point where it opens up.
Yeah.
But for that to make sense, like that would be more confusing. That's why it's not presented to you earlier.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah.
In my opinion, it feels like that's like the first door that you open and you realize, oh, this has way more possibilities than what I thought.
Yeah, it's not only putting power on it. It's like is more. There is more about it, right? Because at the beginning,
it gives you more options.
Yeah, at the beginning, all the guys is like, you have a mod that gives you more damage? Just put that.
Yes.
You have a mod that gives you like more range in a melee weapon? Just to put it on. Like, do you need like more blind thing? You have it? Put it on. Just put whatever you can, right?
Yeah, but that's when you start like understanding the system. But that's not the opening of the.
Yeah, correct. And it's like,
I think,
and it's the first, for me at least, is the first like big entry gap that player has to like go through in Warframe.
It's definitely the first. It's the first scary moment of the game.
Yeah.
When you realize that mods and weapons and companions and everything have these slots that you have to take care all the time.
Yeah. So the good part of the mods is like it's a super flexible system, and by now they have around 1,000 mods in the game.
They have a freak ton of mods.
And there are around 997 mods existing in the game, excluding review mods. I'm reading it straight from the wiki, from the Warframe wiki.
Wow, that's insane.
Yes. And what are ribbon mods, you ask? Where they're like random roll mods with a bunch of stats. It's just crazy. It's like a end game system for mods, basically.
I mean, we should talk about it, like.
All right.
Because they're part of the system.
Yes,
yeah. Ribbon mods are random mods, so you get them from different activities in the game.
You don't get them from different activities. You get it from one activity in the game.
No, you can buy some now.
You can buy them.
Yeah, like
where?
You can get them for sure from the 30.
Yes.
There's another place where you can get them now.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they giving you ribbon mods in some other place besides the 30?
Yeah.
Well, I missed that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay. They have increased the way that you can get them.
Cool.
But anyway, like, so you get these mods that are kind of they're veiled, so you don't know the stats.
Yeah.
And they come with a little challenge for you to complete. And when you go out, you complete the challenge, and when you complete it, the ruined mod is revealed, and it comes for a specific weapon and with a specific set of stats that like are randomly selected from a pool.
Yes.
And there is a currency in the game that you can use to reroll the stats. Like, you cannot reroll the weapon is fixed.
Yes.
But you can reroll the stats. And you can reroll for the perfect roll.
Yes.
And the stats are not only changing between them, but they have like ranges where they can roll.
Yes, that is true. So
it is considered an end game system because you need a lot of resources to reroll them.
Yeah. And then you end up building around the ribbon that you got into the weapon.
Yeah, and they're also, we should mention, they're as well balanced for how often the weapons are used. So weapons that are not used as often can appear more often in ribbons, and the weapons that are used a lot are very rare to appear in ribbon.
Yeah.
And they change that every every 6 months or something. Like, they do a revision and then they change that.
And that they make it like and it's a perfect tool for them for make like every single weapon in the game relevant.
It is, yeah. The system was designed to basically take some of the underpowered weapons and
shoot them up,
bring them up to par with the most used.
Yeah, with the natural.
And it is balanced in a way that you're not gonna just cripple the power of the OP weapons.
Yeah, to the skies.
Yeah, it happens, like.
Yeah,
because there are people who are gonna get ruins for good weapons, but.
Yeah. And we have on that same system something called what is it called? The symbols. What is it? What is the name of it?
What symbols?
The symbols on the mods.
The polarities?
The polarities, there you go. And we have polarities in the mods too, which are a part of the thing because you can.
It's a big part of that.
Yeah. So it's a part of the thing because the polarities is a little symbol that comes with the mod, right?
Yeah.
Like there's 4 type of polarities.
5? 4?
Aura mods, which have a polarity. And then the 3 ones. And then the 4, the 5 because the 5 one is the stance ones. They have that, like the little dude, right?
Yep.
So they have 5 polarities, and you're asking, like, all right, you tell me that they have power, that they have like energy requirement to put in, and they can modify crazy stuff. And what the polarity does, well, basically the polarity, what it does is like you have like, imagine that you in a weapon had an empty slots, like 6 slots to put mods on it, right?
Weapons have 8, but okay. Or no, they have more.
I'm giving an example. Like, I'm not being exact.
Weapons have 10 slots.
They do not. Be exact, goddammit. Anyways, you have a number of slots in a weapon.
10.
You have a number of slots in a weapon, and they are blank, right? But there's some slots who have the polarity. So if you match the polarity of your weapon to the slot, the energy cost gets reduced by half,
By half,
right?
yeah.
But if you put a different polarity in that slot that has a polarity, then the requirement got, I think it's like 20% increase. The punishment is not that much.
No, the punishment is not that much, but it makes a toll
Yeah,
when
it
you're
makes a
doing
toll
builds.
into the energy. So
Yeah, it's 20%.
yeah, so there is a way that is called forma, when you can put polarities inside the slots to match with your mod.
Yeah, that there
right?
is an object in the game that allows you
To modify those polarities
yeah.
inside the actual weapon, right?
It's one of the most important items in the game.
Yes,
It's getting forma.
I think it was the first thing that I bought besides slots in Warframe
Yeah.
was forma packages.
yeah. When you get like into the meat of the game and you start caring about like doing your own builds and stuff,
yeah.
you shoot through forma really fast.
Yeah, you go through forma like really fast. To the point that people who play this game like 24/7, they have like copies of the same weapon with different
Format in
polarities.
different ways. Yeah.
Format in different ways. Because it's easier for them to like acquire a new copy of the weapon and then level it up and potato it and everything else and put forma on it.
Potato it.
Sorry. Yeah, we have to explain the potatoes.
Potatoes, they're called Orkin cells.
I'm sorry.
Or reactors.
Oh, yes.
They're called potatoes because they look like potatoes, but they're just an item in the game that allows you to change the capacity of a warframe or a weapon and double it.
Yeah,
basically.
double the energy capacity in a warframe of weapon. So you can put more mods on it of higher cost. All right, and you obtain them through missions. You something gets blueprints to make them, etc., etc.
Yeah. They're not that hard to come by. But
yeah, those are not that hard to come by. That's true. I end up like with a bunch of potatoes after doing like some missions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you are going to start playing Warframe right now, it's very good for you because now we have Night Waves, and Night Waves gives you stuff that we have to buy and sweat when we started working through Warframe.
What are Night Waves?
Yeah. What are Night Waves? Night Waves are like kind of like the battle pass kind of style thing.
It is a battle pass.
Yeah.
It's exactly that.
Exactly, battle pass in Warframe.
Yep.
And why they did this? Because they felt like new players were having to work too hard to get to some places.
The reason is that before the battle pass came to life, or the Nightwave as it is called, we have this alert system that was like every couple of hours you will get a random set of missions to do with specific rewards.
Yeah.
That were like, I don't know, some cosmetics, some forma, some potatoes, different things that you will want to get.
Yeah.
And there are some of the rewards that are more important than others. For example, forma or potatoes. But since they come random and you're not playing or slots or stuff, but since you are not playing all the time, you could miss a lot of the important ones. Yes. Or you will wake up at 2 a.m. because you get a notification in your cell phone. Forma alert. You're like, oh no.
I did wake up a couple of times at 3 in the morning.
I know. And they were for a limited time, so they will rotate.
Yeah.
And basically, they wanted to change that. So now the Nightwave system is a replacement for that, where you have a battle pass kind of system.
Yeah.
That rewards you forma and slots and potatoes just by completing it. So you don't have to wake up in the middle of the morning.
Or in the middle of the night. It's like, oh my God, free forma. Yeah. I remember a couple of times waking up to an alert because I set up the alerts in the app.
Yeah, me too. I still have the app in my phone.
Me too. To wake up at 2, 3 in the morning to grab like forma, already made forma, or blueprint forma, or like potatoes.
Yeah. The problem is that it becomes important in the middle of the game, because if it is too early in the game, it doesn't matter
Yes.
because you don't have the resources
Yes.
to utilize the system.
Correct.
And if you're really late in the game, you don't care because you can afford it.
Yes.
I mean, you have built enough resources to sustain the game
Yes,
on
that is
its
true.
own.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that meaty part in the middle where you're eager to progress, but there is no way to do it.
There's no way to wake up and grab those things for free.
Yep.
So they make it now like a lot more smoother with the Nightwave system, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. New people doesn't have to suffer as we all folks. But yeah, anyways, the mods system.
Yep.
So of course, and what is the bad part of the mod system is like it's too overwhelming for some players sometimes, right?
And one, it is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And two, it is confusing because I mean there are two things that are confusing. First of all, understanding damage in Warframe can be confusing.
Oh, it's crazy. It's
because
yeah.
You have basically you have two main things. You have raw damage.
Yes.
That can be used with criticals. Like basically you have two types of weapons. The ones that are good at doing critical damage, which is raw damage.
Yeah.
And the ones that are good at doing elemental or like
status damage.
Status damage.
Yes.
So and when you are progressing through a game, like the critical ones are better at the beginning, but they stop working as you progress because the enemies gain too much health and shields and armor.
Yeah.
So you need to invest in status weapons, and that means that you need to start thinking about status damage. And you have basically 4 types of status element, like basic ones. Now you have 4 that you can combine.
Wait. You have like the 3 for like impact slash.
No one cares about IPS.
You just like throw me through the window. But they're technically status. They're technically status damage.
Right? Yes and no. Status chant doesn't affect IPS.
That is true.
IPS is part of the raw damage.
Okay.
You see, it is confusing.
We've been playing this game
getting confusing.
Like, we played this game for how long? Like 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
It is confusing.
And we're still like, wait, but you apply slash damage, so...
No, that's the thing. You don't apply slash.
You do.
You have slash procs.
You have slash procs. There you go. So it's kind of like applying a status, but it's not a status per se.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And then the penetration is not a status; is a property that let you go through armor.
Yeah,
and like ragdoll things, and then
push through. Yeah,
push through, and then the impact is the one that ragdoll stuff. Right?
Yes.
Yes, correct. Yes. All right, cool. So
yeah, they're called IPS because there is impact, puncture, and slash.
Correct. Yeah.
Those IPS.
And those are part of the damage of the weapon, like of the raw damage
of the weapon. Yeah. But they're not affected by a status, but how much of that damage are you making?
Yes, correct.
And there's another thing, which are the elemental ones.
Yeah, correct. And I think those are better paired with critical.
Yeah, the physical ones are better paired with critical.
Yeah.
Elemental are better paired with status.
Status chance, yeah.
Yep. And there are 4 elements.
Yes.
There are 4 basic elements, and you can combine any 2 of those to create 6 new elements.
Yes. And if your head exploded at this point, we understand.
And that's not all.
No.
Each faction has different types of flesh and different types of armor.
Yes, correct.
And all the types of flesh and armor are resistant or weak against different types of damage, both elemental and physical.
Correct.
So it's just a big stable of confusion.
And that's all in the mod systems, right?
Oh, and that's just the weapons, because for the most part, that's important for the weapons.
Yes, for the most part, it's important to do damage in the weapons. Yes, that is true. That is true.
So it is that's the first part that is kind of. Then you look at all these things, like you have all these elements and they combine, and if you have the wrong element for the wrong faction, you're not doing damage and things are killing you. So it's
Terrible.
a whole mess. It
Yes.
is modding in that sense. That's the first thing. And the second thing, in my opinion, that makes it confusing is that when you are modding Warframes,
Yeah.
the abilities are not completely explained in the description in game. Let me
Oh
give
my
you an
God.
example.
All right. Yes. Yeah.
Noah's ultimate,
Yes.
which is the slow. It is an ability that you cast, and it starts in a little ball around you, and it starts expanding.
Yes.
You would expect that the expansion depends on the on the range of
range.
your ability,
Mhm.
but it does not. It depends on the duration of your abilities,
Correct.
but that's not explained anywhere. Like
Nope.
that's not in the description of the abilities.
Nope. Nope. No.
And there are some abilities. So basically, Warframes have four main.
4 abilities and a
things.
passive, right?
No, they have four like basic status aside from health, damage, and shields.
All right. Yeah.
Like they have four thingies. Forget the name.
For
What's the name of
stats?
that?
What?
Yeah,
For stats. Yeah, they have 4 main
Stats.
stats.
Yeah.
For main stats. They
yeah,
have
which are
what,
range,
yes?
duration, strength, and efficiency.
Correct. Yes.
And the problem is that certain abilities for each frame, like this is case by case, each
Yes.
frame, each ability, they scale with with one of the stats or with a combination of the stats.
Correct.
And sometimes it is not completely specified in the description in game.
What exactly stats scale with
Yeah.
what? So, for
Yeah.
example, I'm asking you, what exactly power strength, which is one of the stats, does for Nova in their ultimate?
In their ultimate, nothing.
Yes.
It doesn't matter for the ultimate. But it matters for the one,
All
because
right.
that's the thing that gives you more, that makes appear more of the null stars around you,
Yes.
and they reduce damage. So it matters for that,
Cool.
but not for the ultimate.
It's like, because I like casters who frames. I like when
Yeah.
I start playing the game, I mainly gravitated around Frost, which was a caster type frame, and his thing was like he did the snow and blah blah blah, and then I started playing with Ember, and the whole thing about Ember that was she do a lot of fire damage, and everything about it was like you have to give her a lot of power strength because all her damage is that, right? But for example, with Frost, all the guys were like, with Frost, the only thing that you want armor, and I'm like, why? Why not power strength? That will give you like more strength to the things. No. Because his cool ability, which is the snow globe, escalates with armor, not with power strength or range or whatever else. So you have oddities like that inside the system too, right?
And not only armor, but also health, because armor escalates on health.
Yeah, there you go. So,
So it is confusing because the systems on themselves are so intertwined.
Yes, correct. So
that I get it. It will be really hard to explain all these things in game because it will be just a boring wall of text to read.
Correct.
But that means that a lot of times you don't know what you're doing.
Yes, correct. And even for us trying to like explain only the system mods without explaining what warframes and weapons function is very difficult. Like we cannot separate one from the other. They're like kind of like a very, very, very intertwined system between the two. So in like to get there, how does the warframes function technically speaking? They have 4 stats and they have 4 abilities. All of the Warframe has that, and they have a passive.
Yes.
Right? Which is a natural ability that you don't have to activate. It's synergized with the other abilities, and you can, etc., etc. And they have energy, health, shields, and armor. Yes?
Yes.
Correct. And all those stats are variable, right? There's some warframes that doesn't have any armor, they have shields. There are some
Yep.
warframes that have a lot of armor but a little bit of health. They have a warframes that start with a lot of energy, but like they're very squishy and so on and so forth, right? And how do you use the abilities that your warframes have is through the resource of energy. And energy is a resource that regenerates by itself slowly in the warframe. All warframe has energy regeneration, but the monsters that you kill, the mobs that you kill, drop energy for you to use. And that's how you
Yep.
pay to use the abilities inside the warframes. Yep.
Yes.
All right. And energy drain, which was one of the stats that we were talking about, is how much it would cost
Efficiency.
you efficiency. There you go.
Energy drain of the each ability has an energy drain that is affected by efficiency.
Yes, correct. So some abilities has energy drain. That means that some abilities you can just turn on and they will consume your energy slowly to keep on. And there in some energies that you just pay the cost and they're one use.
Yeah.
Correct. All right, cool. So that's how
Do
warframes work.
you know what is confusing?
What?
A lot of the toggle abilities,
Yeah.
they scale with duration as well. So you don't want only efficiency but also duration
Yeah, that is true. I forgot. Yeah, you want a lot of efficiency and a lot of duration. So
for the toggle
for the
abilities.
toggle abilities, yeah. So you see, this game is complex.
It is.
It is, and every warframe has their own like kind of design around thematic that like plays with these stats
Yeah.
inside the warframe.
Yeah, when you're gonna decide that you're gonna invest resources, warframe or weapon, you have to basically research what things are important for the ability or for the
Yes.
build that you wanna do. And
So if we recommend something, is go for a guide if you are for the first time playing this
at
game.
the beginning, yes,
Just go
ask
for a
a
guide.
friend or
Or
yeah.
you can ask us if we want you. We will refer you to a very good guides, or like go in the internet. There are a lot of like good streamers that does like step by step new player guides, and you just enjoy the ride. You just close your eyes, play the game
And
with the amazing movement, and they just tell you do what they tell you while you try to understand all this.
at the beginning, yes, because it
Yeah.
takes a lot of the pressure of saying, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to clear this mission because I don't know if I'm powerful enough. So at the beginning, you get to enjoy the ride of just killing stuff without that worry.
Yes.
And after that, you can start thinking, oh, but I want to do something different. But you have always like a backup to fall in the
Yes.
game. Like
Correct. Yes. All right.
uh,
So
otherwise, it's just a void of despair and
yes,
numbers.
and oh my god, what I do? Is this so useful? Is this not useful? Should I spend this? Should I not spend this? Oh my god! And then
Yeah,
we-
and the big problem is that modding things consume resources, like doing builds, putting up builds together could consume a lot of resources that
Yeah.
when you're in an early game you don't have. So
correct. And like, if you want to play this game truly free to play, you should go for a guide. If you have
Yeah.
money, well, you can
yeah,
spend.
if
a
you're
lot of
gonna
money.
whale it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you're gonna go free at least for the you get convinced that the game is worth some of your hard-earned cash. Yeah, just follow a guide and don't waste your money.
Yeah. So all the Warframe, as we said last episode, has a lot of thematics inside them, and they're built around a thematic, as we say in the past episode. But how do you acquire Warframes, Lucho?
You farm them, killing
Yes.
bosses.
Yes. Yes. There is more to it.
That's the main way of doing it.
Well, you build them in something called the foundry.
Yeah, I mean, but the foundry is pretty straightforward to understand. So, as we mentioned last episode, the thing that you obtain throughout the game, either by killing bosses or drops or many other ways, are just blueprints.
Yeah.
And the foundry is like your space 3D printer when you can print all your blueprints.
And that's the space where you build everything in the game. Everything in the game is buildable, basically.
It's your space 3D printer.
It's space 3D printer for the win. It's confusing in the beginning because there's you obtain the parts of the. I'm gonna. It's not straightforward. Let me finish what I was gonna say. It's weird at the beginning because you obtain the parts of the Warframes in the war doing missions, but you don't obtain the blueprint of the Warframe doing the missions.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you go to the market.
Yes, you do go to the market.
There you go. that was the weird part I want to explain about this. Because the whole process of getting a new Warframe is you go to a certain mission that gives you blueprints for part of the Warframe. Once you have all three parts that a Warframe requires, which are neuroptics, chassis, and systems, right? You print them in the printer. But once you have those three parts already printed, that does not make the Warframe that you have the parts for. You go to the market, which is a market, when you can buy the final blueprint to whatever you want to build, right?
Yes.
And you buy them with credits. You can buy them with money too, but why will you do that?
Yeah, no, but you can buy them with credit, which is the in-game disposal currency that you will get.
Is the gold.
Infinite amounts of.
Yeah. Is the gold of this game, and and you buy them with credits, and you get the blueprint of the Warframe, which with the other three pieces already print, you make the Warframe, and then at the end of all that process, you have a new Warframe.
Yep.
Yes, that is cool, and in the market is the majority of things. With the weapons, is you can find some of the blueprints in the wild, but you generally buy the blueprints from the market as you unlock the blueprints through the master rank system.
That, or you get them on the clan dojo.
Or you print them, or you get the blueprints in the clan dojo. There's some weapons that are exclusive in the clan dojo. Yeah. So that's the way that you get new weapons in Warframe. Right? You go to the market, you buy new blueprints, and you put them to cook or to print inside your foundry. Right? So now, how does the weapon system, now that we know how does a Warframe works? It requires energy, it has an aura, it has all these like energy requirements. You can potato a Warframe 2 to augment his energy. It has a mod system you can modify his 4 abilities they have, and you print a Warframe. Now, for a weapon, you go and acquire it in the market, and you put it to print, and it's done. Right? You don't have to. There's some weapons who require parts, if I'm not wrong, right?
Only the prime weapons.
Only the prime weapons require parts?
Yeah. I know there are some of the basic ones that.
There's some weird weapons that require parts.
The weapons, some of the weapons require parts, but those parts are drops. You don't have to build those parts beforehand.
Correct. There you go. Some of the weapon requires parts, but there are drops. Yeah. And you build the weapon. And the weapon has all the stats that we explained. And then you can build 2 melee weapons the same way. Right?
Yeah.
The difference between melee weapons and I forgot. You have 2 slots of weapon. You have primary and secondary. And the main difference between the two is that clearly the primary weapons have more heavy weapons, quote unquote, like shotguns and rifles and big energy weapons, that sort of stuff. And the secondary slot, they're more light weapons like pistols and shurikens and like fist weapons and like that, more smallish part. That's the main difference between primaries and secondaries. But you can kill the same with both, for the most part. And then you have the melee weapons, and the big difference in the melee weapons is like they work with all the stats of the bullet fire weapons. They have IPS and they have stats. They have elementals, so you can apply stuff with the weapons. You can apply elementals You can do elemental damage with melee weapons,
Yep.
but on top of that, you have stances, right? Which is
Yeah.
the way that you fight. They're mods that give you a way to fight with the weapon, and then they give you the combos of the melee weapon that you're using.
Yep.
All right, and that's the melee. Of course, the melee, you get one more mod in terms of damage, that is range, because the melee weapons have range, have effective range of how close you have to be to the enemy to hit them with the weapon. And all these melee weapon has had some have better raw damage stats, as we said before, so you mod for that, and some have more applying elemental stats, and then you mod them basically for damage, range, and speed. That I forgot. What is the speed? There's a mod for speed, right?
Yeah.
What is the name? Haste, I think it is.
I don't remember the name, but there is a mod for attack speed.
Yeah, and you basically mod that for you. If you hit faster with the melee weapon, you will be better. And then we have weird oddities when we have like a melee weapon that is actually a shotgun, and we have a melee
Sure.
weapon that is actually a pistol.
Yeah, but I mean, all those little details you will encounter while playing. Like,
Yes, and I think that covers mainly the mod system and the Warframes and weapon system, right? Did I miss something? Did we miss something?
I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think I missed anything. And then inside that you have like the companions, which are modded the same way as everything else.
Yeah, all the companions are like a mini Warframe. They have.
There we go.
They don't have like. They have health, shields, armor, and I think that's
damage. You can put them.
They have this. They are a mix between a Warframe and a weapon.
Yeah, it's like the
they
weird
have
thing
health
ever.
stats and they have damage stats.
Yeah.
And the modding is kind of the same. You put some health, like some basic stat mods, and then you put some damage mods on them. That they have something a little bit different is that you have to equip abilities on the companions. So the companions don't come with 4 abilities.
Yeah.
But they do have abilities that come as mod.
Correct. Yes. and those abilities that comes as mod only can be used in the particular companion that they come
Yeah,
in.
each ability.
I think that when you build the companion, they come already installed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When you build a new companion, it comes with its. Every companion has 2 basic abilities, at least.
Yes.
And when you build it, it comes with those 2 already equipped.
Correct. All right. And then we have the Arcwing system parallel to this too, which is kind of another frame.
It behaves like an Arcwing is a space jetpack.
Correct. It's a space jetpack.
But functionally speaking, it comes with its own, like each Arcwing.
Yes.
It's like its own frame.
Yes.
It has the same stats. It has 4 abilities as well.
Yes.
And there's another collection of Arcwing weapons. Yes. Again, in the primary, secondary, no, just primaries and melee weapons.
Correct.
But they work in the exact same way. Like they have the same type of damage, IPS, elemental.
Yeah.
And
you can
the same principles that apply for basic Warframes and weapons apply for Arcwing.
There we go. Is there any other thing? How does the railjack? Well, we will explore the railjack further along, but what else is there that needs mods? I think that's it, right?
For mods,
weapons, companions, Warframes, weapons. Yes. So that's what uncovered the big and more complex system of Warframe, in my opinion.
It is. Yeah, it's probably the central system to Warframe.
Yeah, and is the biggest hurdle that you have to jump to get into the game, like further along, but I think it's worth it. And I think if you do what we recommend, that is go for a guide, you will get the system slowly. And the recommendation of the guide is like for you not to be overwhelmed and just enjoy playing the
Yeah,
game instead of like staring to stats all the time and try to ponder the meaning of life.
that is definitely true.
Yeah. So yeah, that covers weapons and mod system is really interesting system. Like thinking about it in comparison with the other systems in other games for manipulating builds and that sort of stuff, is like it's such a different system. It's like
It is different, and it's really deep. So
yeah,
there
it's
is a
really
lot of
really deep.
there's a lot to learn and to enjoy with the system.
Correct. And as per Warframe philosophy, there is a lot to collect too. There's a bunch of like rare mods and river things that you can get into, etc., etc.
Yeah, there's an infinite amount of things to collect.
Yes. All right. Now we move into spoilers territory.
Yep, spoilers ahead.
Spoiler alert. Spoilerinos. Don't move beyond this point if you don't want to be spoiling the story of Warframe, because there's maybe some spoilers that we're going to talk about.
Not maybe. There are
There are
spoilers.
spoilers. We're going to talk about it. Yeah. There are spoilers definitely. So if you haven't get to the first dream, the second dream,
Second dream.
if you
Yeah.
haven't completed the second dream and the war within storylines,
Just the
quest
second dream.
lines, just the second dream.
The
the
second
entire-
dream is the reveal.
Well, the second is revealed. That's true. And then the next one is the It's a
The
complete
rest is
system.
just a continuation of the story, but the second dream is the reveal.
There you go. So if you haven't done the second dream quest line and you're playing Warframe, or you're looking forward to play Warframe, and you're gonna play Warframe and you don't want to be spoiled, please move away from this point
Please
forward.
go finish the quest and come back.
Come back. Yes.
That's
So with that said, you've been warned.
Space Kids.
Operator and the focus
Kids.
system. What?
Space Kids.
Space Kids. So inside every Warframe, there is the soul of a child.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
But we won't talk about the lore of the Space Kids now.
No, that's next podcast. But
What you need to know for now is that while you progress to a game, you're doing this quest, and when you complete the second dream, they basically tell you that the Warframes were not like robots on themselves, but they were like Iron Man suits of armor kind of thing.
Correct.
And the big reveal is that you were a space kid in the moon all along.
And man, I know that we're gonna talk about lore next episode, but it's like the best reveal in the game, and I love that the community keep it as a secret for every new player that exists, and keep it like super big all the time, super hush hush.
I appreciate that, but I want to talk about what the operator actually is.
Yeah. Anyway, so the operator is a little kid.
It's basically a little kid, and it basically what happens is that at this point in the game opens a new system of like a completely new system of progression for
Correct.
you.
Yeah.
Which is the focus system.
Yeah.
And they come in schools, so you have 6 schools or
Yeah,
5.
correct. I think it's 6, right?
Yeah. So basically, when you finish the second dream, you get to choose one of these schools. Since there are 6 schools.
6 schools, right? Yeah.
No, 5. Sorry, 5.
5.
There are 5 schools.
Marin, Vaserin, Naramon, Unairo, and Senurik. Cool.
Yeah. And basically, what they are is a skill tree.
Yes.
So this is when the game introduces a classical, let's say,
a classical, yeah. A classical.
skill tree to a game, and they have different, like each school basically represents a different kind of
Philosophy?
class, if you want to.
Yeah. that too.
They represent like philosophy, but they're
Yeah.
just classes.
Classes, yeah.
So Cenuric is like the energy restoration class, so it
Yeah, the
gives you
caster
more
class.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Madurai is like it has a lot of offensive and melee offensive things.
Correct.
Vaseline, it has a lot of defensive, like boost armor and health and stuff like that.
Yeah, and healing and that sort of stuff.
Um,
that is stealth.
I think that one is the stealth one, if I'm
Yeah.
not. But,
And you
and
disappear into the void, and
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't remember what Unairu is, to be honest.
I think let's check it. There's nothing like we don't know everything by memory. Or Madurai.
Additional amount of armor. Oh, this is the offensive one.
Unairo? So what is Vaseline?
Yeah. Vaseline is the healer one.
Oh, so to correct that, Madurai is the defensive.
No, Madurai is the offensive.
One. Yeah.
Vaseline are healers. Naramon is stealth. Unairu is defensive, and Cenuric is just like
energy
record thing.
So yeah, and
basically what happens is that you choose one of these schools. Each one has its own skill tree.
Correct.
And you have to go do stuff with your space kit to.
So this system is very curious because is curious, yeah, in terms of how a progression system works, because it requires you to pay attention to whatever you're doing, right? Because the way the focus works is you go to a mission, and then in certain point in the mission, a golden orb gets spawned somewhere close to you in the map, right?
But not only if you have lenses equipped.
Only if you have lenses equipped, really?
Yeah.
It's not all the time.
Even you need to have need a lens on your weapon or on your Warframe for the focus orb to appear.
Oh, really?
For you to see it. It will always appear, but you won't see it if you don't have a lens.
So if you have no lenses, you will never get focus, or you will never get to spawn. So yes. All right. So what are the lenses?
So it's just another item that you use to make a weapon or a Warframe, gain experience of that school.
On this system, yeah. So basically what happens, you put a lens that goes with the tree that you choose. You put a MacGuffin that goes with the tree that you choose.
Yeah.
Right? In a weapon or a Warframe. Yeah. That you use the majority of the time recommended, right? Or that you want to farm that specific resource with. Right? Yep. And once you're in a mission, any mission, right? It's any mission, right?
Yeah, any mission.
Any mission. And in certain time in combat or whatever, or you're doing the mission passes, a golden orb spawns. So you grab it, and then you have a limited time to kill mobs with that Warframe or weapon that you choose for the lens. And then they will give you focus. And then they will give you that resource to spend in your tree, to advance in your tree. Right?
Yeah.
There is nothing in other games that works like that. That actually requires you to go and grab something to activate a speed level, right? You generally go and grab a quest to do a progression, or you have like a passive bar to do a certain progression, or you equip an item to do certain progression, but there's nothing that requires you to go and pick a thing and then have a limited time to do X thing and to farm X thing. That's my point. Like, I don't remember in this moment, nothing that comes close to that engagement of requirement for a progression system. You get used to it, right? Because there's a big notification.
I also think
begins.
It's just to slow down players during the missions.
You think that that's the reason why they focus you to go and grab the thing?
Yeah, because I mean, if you didn't have to that, like for the most part, for example, when you're doing, I don't know, void relic runs.
All right, yeah.
And you're doing a capture. You go, kill the thing, capture it, and get away.
Correct.
And but you like if you see the focus orb spawn somehow near you,
Yeah,
you will go out of your way to get it.
correct.
So it makes the players do the missions a little bit slower instead of just,
It makes the men slow down and smell the roses.
which is fine.
Yeah,
Like whenever you're in a mission, you as the developer, you want the players to explore the tiles.
yeah. So, and then I will ask you this question for the audience, of course. Why ESO, which is this particular activity that is a mob run technically, is a kind of a horde mode.
It is a horde mode, yeah,
Yeah, is better to farm focus.
because the enemies are nearby.
Correct.
So basically, the way that you can, it's a little bit more difficult than this, but there is something in the game called affinity radius,
Yes, correct.
which means it is just a little radius around you.
Yeah,
And if other players are nearby you, you gain a little bit of the experience that they gain
yeah,
for your own. So and since basically the game has this share experience system, when you are farming for experience, and this includes focus, it encourages players to stay together. And leads Tantorial slot, which is a horror mode, since it expands one tile set at a time, it is easier for players to stay together.
correct.
So you gain more experience or affinity
In the same
there.
way that you get, yeah.
And also, like, it could happen from time to time that there are some tiles that are kind of empty in normal missions, and the horror mode is always throwing things at you.
Correct. And in those instances, you were wasting focus time because it's a time.
Yeah, because you have to go look for the enemies.
Yeah, and kill them before the focus to gain that amount of focus. Of
in
course,
Santori's Lot, they are spamming constantly on you.
Yeah. So it's a very cool progression path with his own lore, his own very useful abilities for me. Like Cedric was super priority for like energy regeneration, that sort of stuff.
It basically how I see each tree is that it has a little gradient of progression.
Yep.
Going from your field will select the abilities that most benefit your warframes, and then you move towards the one that benefit more your operator.
Yes.
And that makes sense because one of the other ways, or probably a main way to farm focus, is to kill eidolons.
Yes.
An eidolon is just a specific boss in the game.
Correct. To not go any further. Yes.
I mean, it is a specific boss, but you can only fight the boss after you have access to the operator.
Correct. That was my point.
To a focus trace.
These are these boss that are designed for you to use your operator.
It is completely designed. It has phases that are designed so that you can only fight them with the operator, with the space kit.
And it was intentionally done because the operator, of course, it does a lot less damage than the Warframe that you're using. And for a long time, they were used as support, basically, as a support character.
They still are, but
yeah, they're still kind of a support, but they given like a lot more importance with the eidolon system of bosses.
Yeah, so the eidolon system became central because it is probably like after you reach the daily cap for focus that you can get in missions.
Yep.
The only way that you can gain focus is by killing eidolons.
Yep.
So I feel like the way that it's kind of designed is so at the beginning you make your warframes more powerful.
Yep.
But to progress, you need to be able to kill more eidolons more efficiently. That means that your operator needs to be stronger. So like some of the latest abilities that you end up buying with focus are like operator
Only, yeah, operator only abilities.
centric.
Yeah.
But it is like right now I have I think I have 2 trees completely maxed out.
Jesus, man, I
Yeah,
only have
that's a
one
lot of
here.
focus.
It's a lot of like, it's a long. It's cool.
Oh,
Like it's cool because it gives you another layer of progression that you were not expecting, and it's
it
very
is,
deep,
yeah.
and it's very very nice. And you're like, oh
It's
yeah,
very long
I
term.
did the collection. It feels like this in terms of design. It's like, oh, I did the collecting part of the game. Now I'm gonna do the classic RPG part of the game, which I level up my character, which was the pilot of my Iron Man suit all along, but I didn't
Yeah.
know it. And I was like,
It is pretty much like that, and that
Yeah.
probably comes from that it came to a game like that because
Yes.
the Warframe game existed way like long before
yes.
the Space Kid came to life.
Absolutely, but they found a very cool way to actually like for started to actually make sense inside the
Sure.
game, and to be complementary and different of what we've been doing with the Warframes.
Yes,
Yes, cool.
it is.
And that's the operator and focus part of the game.
I like that
nice.
it's a really long-term goal,
Yes.
and yeah, like and there is no way to like super rush it. I also
Correct.
like that. Just because the prices to buy abilities are so high at some point.
Yes. Especially when you want to, like, inside this tree, their trees are not 100% static. They're a system inside this tree with inside the ability trees, which is waybound, when you can like detach pieces
Yeah,
of other trees.
each tree or each school
Yeah.
has 2 abilities that are called waybound. That basically, once you max them out, you can pay a huge amount of focus to unlock those abilities for all the other trees.
Yes, because you can only have one tree selected, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can only have one class selected.
Yes, you can only have one class. Of course, you can change between classes. You can level up all your classes.
You can change whenever you want.
Yeah, but you can only have one class active. And the white bounce is a nice way to like give you pieces of the other trees, of the other classes.
It's a nice way to give you access to the core benefits of the other classes.
Yeah. Without forcing you to like.
It is really interesting. Yeah.
So it's a very, again, deep and interesting system.
it is very deep, and if you want to max it out, it's gonna be a lot of time invested in.
Yes, and in my opinion, it is the better part of, like, it's one of my favorite parts of the lore.
In
the game, and it's supported by a great system in terms of progression.
Yes,
right.
I agree.
That's my point. Right.
I think it's a great system.
And the first time I interacted with, it's like, oh, I want to like do all this now, but I realized that it's no. You just take it easy. The game will give you access to what you need at a reasonable pace. You'll get what you need, like the most primary things for things that you do every day in Warframe. But the rest is a long-term goal. Don't worry about it. Just play the game, and you will get there eventually. So if you are in this point, don't rush it. Just pick up the essential things that you want.
Truth be said, you cannot rush it. Like,
yeah,
you gain focus so slowly. Like, even the best best lens that you can put, because they have different qualities.
Yeah, they have different.
Only converts 3.5 of all the experience that you gain.
3.5%, right?
Yeah, 3.5%.
Yeah, of all the experience that you get in the focus windows.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a slow process.
But then the player says, "But what if I want to grind Eliodans till I die?" And then you say, "You cannot." At some point.
No, I mean, like at this point in the game, if you can go to a hunt, and most people can do 3 times 3 idol and kill.
So
and I know that means nothing.
3 idols in a run?
No, 3 sets of 3
3
eidolons.
sets of 3 eidolons.
Because there are 3 different eidolons that you can fight only one after killing the other.
Yes.
So that's 1 set of 3. Most people do 3 sets of those in one night in Earth, which is a window of like 40 minutes.
Yes. In 40 minutes.
Yeah. So if you don't have like the best weapons and best focus, most teams can carry you at least through one full cycle.
Yep.
So you can do it, but even with that, like even with that in mind, it's gonna be slow.
Yes, correct. It's gonna be kind of a slow system. So that's the focus system. Yep. Now, explain me, because Lucho has experience more experience with this system than I do. The Railjack and expanded solar system, which are very new.
Yeah, this came a couple of weeks ago, probably maybe a month at most.
Yeah.
So what is Railjack? Before you had a jetpack in space. Now you have your own battleship in space. Yeah. So yeah, the Railjack is just the newest progression system, and they give you a ship, and you can modify everything on the ship. You can change the weapons. You can change, and it's kind of a Warframe. It has a pool of energy that it uses to activate stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like a weird Warframe. Like you can modify everything. You can change the weapons. It comes with different sets of mods that you can use.
Yeah.
So it has some mods that correspond straight up to abilities that the ship can use.
Like what? Automatic, like laser? Give me an example.
No, they have one ability that is like the Railjack shoots like a black hole, and it pulls all their ships and keeps them CC'd and makes some void damage.
Jesus, okay.
I know.
All right.
They have another ability that makes the Railjacks invisible, so it gives it stealth.
Wow, okay, nice.
So they are like Warframe abilities.
Yeah.
They just come in mod, and you can equip, I think, 3 at a time.
Oh, interesting.
They have another set of mods. There are the ones that correspond more with the usual mods that basically modify the basic stats of the Railjack. Yes. Like the amount of health or shields and armor and speed.
Yeah, like basic stats, yeah.
Yeah, and fire rate for the weapons and damage and cooldown of the weapons because the weapons overheat.
Yeah.
And they have another set of mods that are basically like passive abilities that you can give your ship. That makes sense?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like that. And but the whole point is that you do the Railjack stuff, you get your Railjack, and it comes with nothing. So basically the game is putting you at level 0 on a new system. Because you have to go out and do special Railjack missions, which is the expanded solar system.
Yeah.
So you go to these extra missions that are in space.
In space.
And they give you their own collection of resources, their own collection of currencies, their own collection of mods.
Yeah.
That you need to start collecting to improve your Railjack.
Cool. Nice. That's the Railjack system. So it's a space battleship that you manage as a Warframe, and it has its own particular missions and systems. You can still take your Warframe onto space and fight stuff on your Warframe, or invade other ships in your Warframe.
Yep.
Like it's not completely disconnected from the rest of the game.
Oh no, it's full on. It's full on space battles.
Yes.
And you can go out with your Warframe and your Arwing and kill a spaceship with your weapons, go invade other space, and
steal another spaceship. I did that in my first mission.
Yeah, but that's, if you think about it, that was a big change for the game, because even before that, like the basic lore of the game is that we're going around invading ships, like corpus ships or greener ships,
Yeah,
and we will do like all the missions in there.
correct.
But we never saw those ships from outside because these uh, procedurally generated maps
Yeah.
were not a ship; they were just maps.
Yes,
But
they will
now,
give you the illusion of the ship, but they were
yeah.
just like maps generated. But
But
now you
now
can see the ships and enter
you
the
can
ships with the tail.
invade a real ship.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So the fantasy is true. Everything is true, basically.
But there is more. You as the player have a new set of. They're not. They're called. I forget the name. It's a new collection of
What?
things that you can progress.
What?
The name. It's basically you have four, let's say, specializations that you can
All right.
improve.
Yeah.
So it's like the pilot specialization,
Yeah.
and you gain points on that piloty thing, and you can drive with more speed, or your avoid maneuvers are better, or you can
Where is
turn the
this
ship.
system? I haven't even seen this.
No, you haven't seen it. Or is that, or there's a gunner, so you shoot better with the guns of the thing. There is
Wow.
another one that is the engineer, which means that you are better at
Repairing the
crafting the
ship.
things that you need to, not only
Crafting.
repairing, but like also crafting ammunition and all the things that the ship
Wow.
can craft.
And so it's a personal progression.
And that's a player progression system.
Beyond the upgrading the ship and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jesus.
That is tied to the character, not to the ship.
Okay.
Intrinsics, that's what they are called.
Oh, okay. How many people can you take to a railjack mission? The typical 4?
4. Yeah, the typical 4.
Typical 4 warframes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
we have another system.
There is
inside.
more.
There is more. Oh, wait, there is more.
And that's a personal progression system.
Are you gonna sell me a blender with it?
There is more.
So yeah, that's the railjack. What was this expanded solar system thing?
It is basically the missions on Railjack.
Yep.
Have their own navigation
Menu.
Like it has its own solar system. And
all right, yeah.
now we have to progress to those because they are blocked.
Oh, nice. So it's like a new progression of places.
Yeah.
That we did in our solar system, in our original solar system with the Warframes.
A new collection of missions to unlock.
Cool. That is cool. That is like an actually entire system, like an actual big chunk of entire system. Like beyond open maps, and now we have open space. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Amphibian is a whole new game inside the game.
Jesus. All right, I'm just like I'm seeing that system. I haven't experienced it, but I've seen it from the outside, and it's like, oh, that looks super cool.
Oh, the space battles, are so cool and so hard because we experience this. I just have the basic ship now.
Yeah, but
we got the missions are really hard.
Yeah, we got destroyed in that mission that you take me on. It was really fun, but we got absolutely demolished.
But I think that's really cool because
it gives you a challenge.
Did you remember that sensation in one of the first defense missions that we stayed for a lot of waves? That we said, this is getting hard?
Yes.
It brings back that same feeling.
Yeah, and then you're sweating, and then you're moving around, and like everything is important, and you you take forever to kill. Yeah. That's a cool.
It's cool that it can bring that feeling after
many hours of playing this game.
I don't want to say how many hours.
Yes.
Thousands, like multiple thousands of hours.
Yeah. All right, there's one more system that we haven't talked about, and it's the Kuvalich system. That I'm new to that too. So could you kindly explain it, Lucho?
So it's basically a nemesis system.
Basically.
So if you play Shadow of Mordor, I think?
Yeah, Shadow of Mordor, yeah. It's the central system of that game, but in Warframe. Basically.
Yeah, so simply put is You go out to a high level mission, you look for a special enemy that you kill, and when you kill it, the game would randomly generate a personalized enemy for you.
Yes.
And it will invade some of your missions, and those missions are going to be higher level than the usual missions.
Yep.
And the guy will, like, your personalized enemy is going to steal resources for you, like from you. And you have to go around those missions, like killing its like lieutenants or like underlings,
Yeah.
so that you can discover a specific set of mods that you have to use to kill it. And when you kill it, it will give you a when the Coalition is created, it is also created with a specific and random weapon.
Yeah.
And the seed for the weapon is the Warframe and weapon that you were using at the time when you created it.
Yes.
And when you kill it, you will get that weapon, which is random in stats and configurations and things.
So we made it to the point when we actually have randomly generating weapons in Warframe.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
Just with it. But yeah, I mean, the QA system is basically the Nemesis system just in Warframe.
Yeah. And then at the end you get all the stuff that he stole back, and then a randomly generated weapon seeded from the weapon that you started the thing with.
And the Warframe.
And the Warframe that you started. But you get
And
the weapon, right?
Yeah, I think at the end when you're about to kill your Coalition,
yeah,
they give you the option to either kill it and get the weapon, or
what?
not killing it, but like leaving it alive.
Yeah.
And then he will randomly appear in missions to help you. Like a Spectre.
Oh, you can make him a Spectre. Cool.
Not make him, but he will like randomly appear. Like if you were to
And
drop a Spectre.
How many Coalitions can you have active at the time for that? Just one?
Yes, only one will spam.
Oh, okay.
But you can have like you can spare the life of multiples, and like just one of them will spam with
randomly spamming a mission and help you.
But I think like the idea is at some point they said that for Railjack, they are gonna unlock the ability for you to have your own crew in your spaceship.
Okay.
And the crew members of the spaceship are gonna be either people that you hire from the different factions in the game, and or the coalitions that you have spare.
Oh, nice.
That's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, because you can like actually bring like very powerful coalitions in there, put it as your crewman.
Yeah.
And that would be super powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Okay.
When they bring back that to the game, that's gonna be really cool.
I think we have around 15 more minutes for what is left. All right, let's see if we can get through something.
Let's get through the last one.
Yeah,
and we move.
And
we'll talk about the whole.
We're still missing some progression. We're still missing some progression systems. We're still missing the first progression system, the first sideways progression system that you come in contact with, the one with it's not the clans, it's the affiliates. I forgot the name. The little console that you have to your left when you got affinity for that.
Oh, the syndicates.
The syndicates, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the syndicates and their cousins without the syndicates for the planes and the
basically
other
all the
syndicate
factions.
Systems. Yeah, the factions. So quickly with that one, it's like you have factions and you can gain experience with those factions and buy better things with those factions, and that works in multiple levels.
And they sell you like they have each faction has a specific reward.
Yes.
That you may or may not want.
Correct.
So. And but the syndicate system has its own little minutia that is quite interesting.
Yeah. So we have that system too that we kind of go in deep, but is there.
Yep.
But and that's an easy to comprehend system. It's just like you play the legions to them and you start gaining reputation for them, and then you collect some, and then you get access to their rewards. I think.
The interesting part is that you cannot, like at least with the 6 syndicates, you
Yes,
cannot
with the syndicates.
increase the reputation with all of them at the same time.
Correct.
So they're like they have like a system of friends and enemies.
Correct.
And if you level up some of them, other ones are gonna hate you.
And that is and it's harder to, if you want access to the things that the other enemies have, it's very hard to
Yeah.
become their friends, and then the ones that you had before, they become your enemies, so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
and the enemies of those syndicates send invasions to some of your random missions.
Yeah, they
They
randomly send assassins.
send assassins. They're very hard enemies to kill, and that's the syndicate system, right?
Yeah,
In a nutshell.
basically that.
But the last system that we want to touch on before we finish this deep dive is the prime relics and the premium currency or trade chat system in the game.
Yeah, so this is tied down to the monetization of the game.
Yeah.
So prime things in Warframe are just like Warframes and weapons that are a tiny little bit better
Yes.
than the ones that are not prime.
Correct.
And the only way to get, not the only, but like one of the ways to get them is just to buy it up straight up with money.
Yes.
From
you
digital
buy
streams.
the premium currency of the game, which is called Platinum from
Yep.
DA. You support their efforts, and then you buy whatever prime Warframe that you want. Or the other way to get it, because Warframe guarantees you that you can have access to every single part of the game without paying a cent.
Yeah, so there is this relic system, and relics are basically like loot boxes in a sense.
Kind of, but not really.
They're not really. They're like little things that you collect freely in the game all the time. Like you will get hundreds of them.
Yes.
Just by playing the game, and they're basically like little boxes that have that you actually the thing is that you know what's inside of that box.
Yes.
With what percentage the thing that is there is gonna drop for you.
Correct.
And you can increase the quality of the relic,
Yeah.
such that the rarer, the most rare, the rarest,
the rarest
drop,
yeah,
is such a weird word. The
Yes.
rarest reward will increase its drop chance from the box.
Yeah.
And opening these things that you get all the time, you open them by doing some special type of mission, and you can collect the pieces and bolts to build the prime versions of all the weapons and warframes in the game.
Yes.
But the thing is that there is a rotation of these things. So a new prime warframe and collection of weapons comes out every 4 months or 3 months.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, every 3 to 4 months. Yeah.
But as soon as that one comes to the game, the oldest one that is available cannot be dropped. Like you cannot get the relics that drop those parts anymore.
Yep.
So it's kind of off the game.
Yes.
So you cannot get it by drop, but you can still trade it with people. So people that collected parts for all their quote unquote prime warframes and prime weapons can just sell them in the trade system of the game.
Yes.
For platinum. And that basically makes like trading either prime parts or rare mods or ribbons makes the main bulk of things that are moved through the market system in Warframe.
The trade economy, yeah.
The trade economy, yeah.
So basically it's a thing about time at the end of the day, this whole trade thing, because you have two ways to approach it. You either like put some money on, get some plat, and get the things that you want. Easy peasy, chocolate squeezy. Right?
Yes.
Or you go through the hassle of go for the relics that you need, farm, do the missions, roll the chance, or collect the relics to keep them on for a future, or have the parts of prime parts and then trade it through the chat. You even can like trade rare mods too. and then
let,
acquire the
let,
plat. That's it, that way.
let,
Yeah.
let me say something.
All right.
It sounds like a lot of work to get the prime warframes through the grind of the game,
But it's
because
not.
you have to go collect the relics,
Yeah.
then go open the relic, roll the dice, and hope to get lucky. But it is not that bad,
No.
especially for the newest, shiniest prime collection. Why? Because for the newest one, a lot of people are farming for that.
Yes.
So you can group up with people that all are looking for the same, so all of them have the same relic in the max quality possible,
Yeah.
and that increases a lot the chances of getting the part that you need.
And because the entire, like, the things, like, at the end of this relic opening missions, you can choose the part that you
Yes.
need, right? So
You
every
can-
relic separately open with their own random chance. They all roll individually, and then they all show you what open in, like, at the end screen, and you can choose whatever you need. Yeah, or whatever is, like, rarest. In case that you're looking for something particular that didn't drop, then you take the whatever is rarest, and you're still, like, you're not losing your time. That's the thing.
Yeah, but that, like, when you're pursuing the newest ones, that means that it really doesn't take that much time to get the part.
Yeah.
Like, for that, the slowest part is to get the relics, but that process can be accelerated with the syndicates.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you get relics super fast. And then opening them, which is the RNG part, kind of heavy.
Yeah.
If you do it with, like, you can just look for people in the chat that are doing that.
Yeah.
And there is always people for
always.
that.
There's always people to open relics that are looking for
So there is, it's not as random, and it won't, like, once you have the relics to open, looking for the people and actually opening them and getting the thing that you want is not going to take you hundreds of relics to open. It's going to take you like 4 or 5 at most.
Yes. Yeah. I think, like, it's a good and fair system. That's the thing, that when you
it's super friendly.
Yeah, it's super friendly. Like, like, I have a bunch of primes that I've, like, not necessarily target to, but I don't feel the pressure to, like, I have to get this prime thing.
Yep.
X or Y. No, like a lot of times, like, I want this Warframe prime because it's on the season and I really like it, and blah blah blah, it's my favorite prime, and then I go do that and I end up with, like, a bunch of random other prime pieces.
Yep.
And, like, from that I build prime weapons and sell the other pieces and get what I need. I remember that Sarin, that when I was farming for Sarin prime, and then I was missing a piece, and I end up opening so many other pieces that I sell them. Like, I trade them through chat and I buy the piece that I was missing, and it was super easy, barely any inconvenience.
And there are a lot of people who actually just go to open, like, random relics all the time, like, in random groups.
Yeah, they're like,
they usually take, like, relics that are already out of the rotation that you cannot get in the game anymore.
Yeah,
and they just open. That's actually what I do all the time. Like, I now only open relics on the max quality.
Out of season?
And just, out of season, and just whatever thing I have.
Cool.
And a lot of the times are ones that are already out of rotation.
Yeah.
So, you'll come across people opening all relics with all rare parts randomly throughout the game.
Just because.
I do it just because I have a bunch, and I'm not gonna, like, unless I'm hunting for something specific.
Yeah.
But I only need to do that for the newest ones.
Yeah.
The rest, I'll just open them, like, and if people get things that they want, go for it. Right?
Yeah. It's cool.
But that's what most players like me do.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter, really.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, when you get to that point, getting platinum for, like, and there was, like, before, I feel like before there was an urgency to get platinum in the game because you need to buy slots for warframes and weapons, right?
Yeah.
But now, because of the Nightwave system that we talked at the beginning, they are inside the system. They are giving you some slots, so there's no longer as much urgency to get platinum as fast as you can to get new slots. You at some point will need it. You at some point will, if you're playing it for as long as we've been playing it, and something. And I'm not ashamed to tell you that and that DA is very good with like players that DA is very good with players. Is my point here,
Yeah.
right? Because
It's a good game. It is worth some money, at
yeah,
least.
yeah, you get so much enjoy for the play that I'm not ashamed to tell you. Like every time I get a 50 or 75% platinum discount, which is apparently I'm very lucky at it. I get them a
You are
lot.
very lucky. I've never gotten one of those.
I go and buy platinum now. 50% discount is like $5, man, and I get a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff from it. Right? I get the slots, I get everything there, and I still have some platinum there sitting there that I've not used. And they're that good. Like the system is that good that either you engage with it, you can go like $0 and like make platinum
Oh,
if you want in the game.
I have made a bunch. Like I have bought platinum before, but the bulk of my platinum comes from just selling stuff.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I have a lot of platinum, but it comes mainly from selling ruin mods and
like
prime
rare
sets
mods
and
and
stuff like
prime
that, yeah.
sets and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
You can make, and that's actually one of the nicest things of the game, that you can make the premium currency just by playing the game.
Yeah. And then you can, if you're in the point that's Lucho is, I haven't made as much platinum as his, but I've made some that he buy a lot of like cosmetic stuff that costs real money, and they're actually supporting a person who makes cosmetics for the game, right?
Yeah.
Actually, like, think about it. You made real money in a game that requires you zero money for you to play, and then you support with real money other people that are doing stuff for the game.
Yes, definitely.
Right? That's the beautiful thing. That's the beautiful thing about the Warframe trade chat and community system.
Yeah, right? I feel like D has made a good job of making the premium currency available enough so that you are not completely forced to buy it.
Yep.
Like you'll at some point, like in the middle of the Warframe career, you'll feel like you need it because you're accumulating stuff faster than you're getting slots.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at some point it just stops
like
mattering. Being a problem.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know, it's such a good game that from like saying I paid $5 for or $10 for premium currency for all the time and enjoyment that I've gotten from the game.
Yeah.
From like a AAA quality game.
Yes, correct.
Because even though it's free to play, it looks and feels amazing.
Yes, and you have cinematics, and you have good storytelling, and you have
has good cinematics. Yeah. It has voice acting.
Yeah, has excellent music too. We were gonna probably talking about next episode.
Yeah,
but with that, I think we finish our deep dive
for today.
Yeah, we're gonna be here till next year.
Yes.
So now we move to our audience questions and feedback. Remember, you can send us your questions and feedback through the email, to or YouTube comments, through comments in the other platforms. We check everything before doing the script so we can put it on and answer your burning questions that you have about the podcast and the things that we say here, we don't say. So the first question of today is, what is the one thing you didn't like about Warframe when you start playing?
For me, it was probably the aesthetic of the game.
Wow.
But it grew up really fast on me.
You didn't like this? Wow. This was... go on.
No, but it was like... It is unique. And
yes,
it was shocking at the beginning.
Yes.
But it grew up really fast.
You know, for me, like, I think the first time that I didn't like is that they didn't explain some stuff properly. That's the first thing that I hate. And like, I'm a guy that if a game is not explaining properly um, something, I go and look for a guide, and there's no problem. But as a game designer, to see such a good game badly explained, it really bothers me at the beginning of the game. After that, I like they become better doing that, but at the beginning it was like really bothered me from that standpoint.
Like, to be honest, I don't think there is a good way to explain a lot of the things.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's very hard, but it's still like you know what I mean. Like it didn't go.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But I think there are things that just cannot be explained in the game.
All right.
It just
it's hard.
just
It's hard. Yeah,
like the
sometimes
damage
impossible.
types.
Yeah.
How do you explain that in a meaningful way in the game?
You do a little mission when you use every damage type and what they do, and they like point you to like, this do X, but you go through a replay or something like that. Something more handholdy.
They kind of do it.
Something like that.
Before you do your first mission with Infested, they give you a fire, like a mod with fire damage,
Yes.
and they tell you use it.
But it's not that clear. It's like
No, but I think there are a lot of things in the game are so hard to explain.
Yeah.
That it's better not to.
Fair enough. That's
it will be
a
worse.
fair point. That's fair point. But that's the first thing that bothered me when I started playing Warframe. The rest was excellent. And I'm surprised that you said the aesthetic, because that was the thing that hooked me into Warframe from the beginning. It's like, this game looks so cool.
What hooked me was the gameplay.
Yeah.
Because it feels amazing to play.
Yes, that's true.
But then the aesthetic grew on me. It grew really fast. Like, it was only like a couple of hours of me saying it looks weird. But I think it was more of a shock thing. Like,
of like this.
I've never seen art
anything
like
this.
That.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, it was a shock.
And
thing.
it just those couple of hours of saying I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
But then I was like, nah, I like it.
And the second question of today is, what hooked you into Warframe? Well, for me, it was the insanity of it all. It's like, between the art style and the weird things in the lore and the weird systems of the game, I just pick my curiosity at infinitum times, man. Like the game did a very good job of keeping me curious of what was next. That hooked me a lot, right?
For me, it was the prospect of collecting things.
Please don't be a hoarder when you're older.
No, but it just, I like when you open the Warframe Arsenal thing to change the Warframe.
Yes.
And they showed you like the list of all the Warframes grey out.
Yeah.
It was that feeling of, I only have 2 of them. I want to have them all. It's just, if there is a list to complete, I want to complete it.
Fair enough. So it was the completion is in you. Okay, to Warframe.
Yeah, and that was like, you open the weapons and you see, I'm missing this weapon. And then you go and look, where do I get it? And it's, you have to go there. You go and get it, and it's so satisfying.
Yeah, that's a good satisfaction. It feels good. It feels good all the time. We play so many hours, some grueling missions to get some Warframes. Like, I will never forget the
Atlas.
The Atlas farm. Never forget. Never forget the Atlas farm. That was hard.
That was hard, and we were under gear for that fight.
Yeah. But we still did it like in a reasonable amount of time, right?
Yeah, but we had to invest in like learning up our win mods, and
we did it raw. We did it raw. We did that farm so hard.
Yeah.
But yeah. And that's it for questions feedback, my friend.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. That's all for this week's episode. Once again, thanks for tuning into the Sweaty and the Farmer and the Game Design. My name is Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at Luis G. Polanco.
And I am the Long Name Gamer, and you can find me on Twitter at the Long Name Gamer, and on Twitch on twitch.tv/LongNameGamerTV, where I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, tell your neighbor about the podcast, tell your loved one about the podcast, tell your friends in Warframe about the podcast, and follow The Sweaty, the Farmer, and the Game Design. See you next time. Bye. And did you know, contrary to what most of us think, this fruit was not the orange was not named for its color. Instead, the word orange comes from the transliteration of the Sanskrit naranja, which comes from the Tamil Nadu, which means fragrant. So it was called the fruit that is fragrant.
So the color was named after the fruit.
Correct. And the fruit was named after the smell.
The fragrance, yeah.
Yeah, it was a chain of stuff.
Nice. And because oranges do not spoil easily and are full of vitamin C, during the years of world exploration, sailors planted orange and other citrus trees along trade routes to prevent scurvy. Which is a disease that develops from deficiency of vitamin C.
And that explains, little kids, why there's oranges everywhere.
That makes sense, yeah.
Every place a pirate touch sail, it was a orange tree. Are they orange trees like easy to plant and grow? Are they like tropical trees or something like that?
Maybe.
Because there's orange trees everywhere, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Like there's a lot of types of oranges too. I know there's not only like a lot of orange trees, but there's like the Pomerose orange or the blah 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 orange or the thing orange.